And we're live. So, guys, I wanted to make a few small comments uh, on, let's say, the state of the conversation regarding um, what's appropriate between young men, young women, the church, the culture at large. The comments that Nick Fuentes made about your body, my choice. Here we have let's say, an Orthodox person, Timothy Honeycutt. He's an audio scribe, like he reads uh, the writings of the saints and records those readings for YouTube. So, like unprompted, this guy decided to, let's say, speak to young men. Um, Young men, the Orthodox women are not in church for you to make them your tried wife or your property. They are in church because they love Christ. The same Christ inspired them to desire a man ready to love them, just as Christ also loved the church and gave himself for her. Okay, fair enough. There's nothing technically wrong with this comment. That is true. Like, I completely agree. But you see, there's a performative aspect going on that is implied. There are several things implied by the very fact that this person feels that it's their place to talk to young men. If I tell you, for example, you shouldn't beat your wife, I am subtly implying that that's a possibility. So in a way, it's an insult. It's actually an insult. Um, so this guy is presupposing that he needs to say this, and I understand all he might feel like he needs, because I agree. A lot of, let's say, recent converts have a bad attitude regarding women, etc. But what I feel should be mentioned is, why does he say this? Like, why does he say this now? I asked him, "Who did you vote for?" Because, like, to say this now, in the wake of, let's say, an election, in the wake of Nick Fuentes' comments, is to presuppose um, two things at the very least. One, that he has the authority to speak to young men in general, as if he were the, let's say, an authority on the subject. And second of all, which is to me perhaps the most troubling, is the presupposition that, first, that it needs to be said, and that it needs to be, let's say, said to everyone, as if this person had the authority to simply indict every young man. Um, I wish he could answer if he voted for Kamala Harris or if he didn't vote at all. So here's a comment that says, "Old dude clearly resents young men. Such a pathetic archetype." Says, "You're imagining things. If this isn't applicable to you, don't act like it is." Basically, this man is this critic is saying, "Oh, you're resentful and you're trying to be patronizing." And he's saying, if this is applicable to you, don't act like it is. It's like, okay, why are you making these vague accusations as if you could, like, somehow judge others and then, you know, play it as if you didn't? This person replied, "I'm not Christian. This doesn't apply to me at all. I can just see exactly what you're doing, you ugly faced, domesticated, sneaky fucker." I apologize for the language. "You resentful little envious geriatric. What a deeply evil creature you are." So this was mean. This was very mean, but he has a point. No offense, Timothy, but you have a face for monasticism. Truly. Uh, that was a mean spirited comment. Now, I shouldn't have read this word, by the way. I don't support this kind of language, generally speaking. I try not to cuss. But um I think both of these people have a point. Now, why do I, let's say, like, attend to these comments? Well, because of this reason, I'm a cradle Greek Orthodox, and we have a ton of Orthodox that need to see this, especially considering many of them had never had a chance with a woman anyway. Oh, so they're incels. Okay, they're scaring away a lot of women, but I'm working on them to try and get them to chill. Okay, okay, okay. Also, dogs for Trump. Okay, whatever. So 93, he's my age. So I replied to him, "Are you suggesting that God somehow loses lambs from his flock?" In the sense of saying, yes, of course, we have a, let's say, understanding that we are responsible for those souls that aren't saved because of us. That's a very orthodox thing. But at the same time, it's like, do you really think that God will not save those he wants to save or to reach? So are you actually implying that your failure as a man can change God's plan? No, it can't. So this is all a trend that I've been speaking about people like treating women as if they were children. Women should go to church for God, not for validation. If a couple of idiots scare women away, it's because they're not meant to be in the church in the first place. Grow up. So this perpetual infantilization of women and this demonization of men is getting really tiresome, especially when it's done in such a sanctimonious piety signaling um, preposterous way. Uh, what I've heard from priests, from good priests at least, was encouragement in the sense of like encouraging these young men to grow into the church. What I don't appreciate is these people needing to somehow piety signal, virtue signal, try to take upon themselves authority that wasn't given to them, to patronize um, um, young men, uh, and to blame them um, for what? For not being orthodox enough? Is that the problem? Is your problem that recent converts are not orthodox enough? Because that's what a recent convert is. That is what a recent convert is. Do you expect them to be ascetical saints? That's kind of strange. Now, if you're doing this uh, because you're equating young orthobros with Nick Fuentes, then, my friend, you're treading very dangerous waters. And I would suggest you stop. You wouldn't have the courage to speak like that to a particular man in a particular parish face to face, would you? That's why you hide behind the internet and speak to a mass of people. And you can pretend, oh, this doesn't apply to you, perhaps. It's like, oh, you have to self-identify as the person I'm let's say publicly trying to denounce. Who are you to denounce anybody? Who are you to denounce anybody? Do you think that's orthodox? Shame on you. Shame on you. Really. So anyway, that's what I wanted to say. Thanks guys for lending me your ears.